All right. Welcome to the 1 year anniversary episode.
Why did you sound spooky?
It wasn't. That wasn't spooky. That was my old medieval announcer. Welcome to the old-fashioned... I don't know.
Were you trying to be SNL guy?
No. That's what I should have done. I should have done Don Pardo.
Okay, start over. Okay, ready? Go.
All right, and welcome to Not Suitable for Adults, starring Natalie, and also starring Rich.
All right, there it is.
I think I just nailed Don Pardo right there.
You did pretty good, and I hope we still have listeners.
Well, they may have had to, take out earbuds for a second. I feel like I was loud. I'll try and fix that in post. Hey, this is our 1 year anniversary episode.
Yeah, what are you guys still doing listening to us?
I'm very excited about the fact that we have done a podcast for a whole year.
Yeah, it's pretty cool. We've only missed a couple of a week here and there. We've pretty consistently gotten...
Yeah.
How many episodes is this?
Well, I was going to say, I'm a little bit disappointed because, we knew that we probably wouldn't do it every single week.
Sure.
But also, this is the 49th episode, and I'm really hoping it would be the 50th.
Oh, that's okay.
But...
Wow. But there's how many weeks in a year?
52.
So, that's pretty good.
Yeah, so we missed 3 weeks.
Yeah. In a whole year.
Not bad.
Not bad.
And most of them were more recent. Within the last 3 months, I feel like, are when we took our 1 week breaks.
Well, listen, it's 2020, y'all.
Yeah. So, thank you. If you're someone who has listened to us from day one, family members.
Pretty much only.
We thank you for sticking with us. But there's several folks out there who haven't. And I wanted to give some statistics for those who are interested. Some interesting things about the show.
Okay.
And here they are. One is we are also just shy of 3,000 downloads in the year. We're at 2,900 and change. Mm-hmm. We just hit 2,400 Twitter subscribers. Mm-hmm. This week. Let me pull up. Let me ask you, Natalie. What do you think, without looking at the information that's on my computer screen right now? I
can't see it.
What do you think our most popular episode has been?
Oh, man. I don't know. Maybe a holiday episode? But that was that was quite a while ago. So, yeah. I don't know. So maybe talking about Teletubbies.
Okay, you think the Teletubbies episode?
I think Teletubbies, because there's mixed feelings on Teletubbies. I don't know. See. What do you think?
Let me find the Teletubbies. Well, I know which one it is.
Well...
What is going on?
I don't know. You just turned on something on your computer.
Everything's going great.
It's Control F to find things. There you go.
Teletubbies. Mm-hmm. Teletubbies was not a bad episode, but not our most popular.
What's our most popular?
Our most popular episode has been the She-Ra and Number Blocks Alpha Blocks episode.
Why?
I think because of She-Ra.
Okay.
I think because that was in the middle, that was going when when we reviewed it. And I did a really good job of hashtagging that episode. Oh, okay. So I think a lot of people...
Well, you should do a better job of hashtagging the rest of the episodes.
I guess so. And our second most popular was the Miraculous and Paw Patrol episodes.
Okay.
So I think we just covered very popular things on those two episodes. Right times.
Okay.
And those were our most downloaded. But we've had a lot of pretty great success, including... since we've switched our provider, so our host from we started on Podbean and we switched to Spreaker in April, and even since we switched to Spreaker, I can't see our Podbean numbers anymore. I know we had a total of about 900 downloads when we left, but even since we switched from Spreaker, our first episode, the episode we're going to talk about today, the first episode has been downloaded another 42 times since we switched then, which to me indicates that at least around 42 people have like gone back and like said, okay, well, let's start this one from the beginning.
Well, that's how I do podcasts.
Right.
That's not how you do podcasts.
Not necessarily.
You like to listen to just like the most recent week or the most recent 2 or 3 episodes.
It depends on how far back it goes.
I have to go back to the beginning and watch it. Not watch it. I keep saying watch. I have to listen to it in chronological order for some reason so that I know, I don't know. If there were references or anything, I like to know those references. I like to be in on the, inside jokes.
Gotta know all those insiders.
Yeah.
Let me also talk briefly about where people listen to us from, because this is something we were really enthralled with when we first got started, is like where our listeners were. But I feel like we haven't talked as much about it lately. So only less than 3/4 of our listeners are in the United States. Like just under 3/4. It says 74.5% of our listeners are from the United States. The rest are we have listeners in the UK, in Canada, in India, in the Philippines, in Germany, Australia, Nepal, Brazil, Nigeria. And then there's like an other section where for whatever reason it won't tell me, but like 6% of our listeners come from someplace that isn't one of those places.
And shout out to our Nepal friends. We know who you are.
Yeah, we actually know who our Nepal friends are.
Yes.
We were on a call with them a few weeks ago. We're like, hey, is this you? Or do we have other people who know us in Nepal now? And they're like, no, that's us. So, we've got people from all over the place. Our most listened to locations outside, like specific locations as far as like city and state, outside of here in the Nashville area where we know we have several friends who download the show. We've got people in, our nearest people are in Virginia, North Carolina, Georgia, Arkansas, California, Michigan. So we've got people from all over the place. Trenton, Canada is one of our top 10 like cities.
Interesting.
So yeah, we got people from all over the place, and that's not a brag moment for us as much as a wow, we can't believe people listen to us.
Yeah. So hey people.
Thanks for doing that.
Yeah, for sure.
For us.
You got us here.
You got us.
If nobody had listened to us, not sure I would have continued this.
No.
I mean, I think it's fun to do with you and everything, but I don't know. I would have probably thought it was like a fool's errand. But now that I know that people actually listen to us and we're getting, we're staying pretty consistent in our downloads and everything, I'm like, hey, it's for you guys.
Also, I don't have this pulled up in front of me because we realized to get rid of some audio things, we have to put our phones on airplane mode. So I can't look at it right now. But the last time I looked, we had like 34 5-star reviews on iTunes, and our only reviews are 5-star reviews. So everyone who's reviewed us on iTunes so far has given us 5 stars. Yeah. So thank you to those 34 people. Yeah.
So all that saying, get us over some of those little humps for downloads and what.
If we can say one thing, it's like, come on, people, what are you doing?
That's not what I meant. I was like, tell your friends.
Yeah.
We wanna bring more joy to more people.
Yes, for sure. And so what we're doing today, without any further preamble, is we're going to go back, cast our minds back to...
We don't have to cast our minds. We listened to the episode.
To episode 1, to... Potatoes, Villains, and Pants. Which also I have to say, this is me.
You changed the titles.
This is Rich apologizing to our fan base for making our titles confusing for the first like 15 to 20 episodes.
Yeah, he did. He tried to do this quirky little blank, blank, and blank.
I thought it would be funny to like mention little things from each episode and let that be the way that we title them, but then it got difficult.
And then later he was just like...
Show titles.
Yeah.
People want to know the show title.
The names of the shows.
So we're gonna talk about episode 1. We did just listen to it the other day.
I had a very hard time listening to it.
Yeah.
But I have a hard time listening to us now. It's just me. It's just listening to myself. I don't enjoy that.
Yeah, that's a pretty common thing. That's not a big deal. I think a lot of people don't like hearing their own voice.
Except for you, right?
Except for me, I'm great. No, actually, this is less of a, y'all, this is just going to be less of a like show review episode, more of a like kind of chatty episode. Mm-hmm. So stick with us because we want you to be part of the conversation. I've had people lately, I guess because like, partly because I've been doing a podcast for a year now, like I know how to talk on a microphone a little bit better than I did before. And I'm not saying I sound super great or anything. I also don't think I have like a wonderful voice. But I've been in like meetings for work now, and I use my microphone rig for work for these Zoom calls. And people are like, Rich, you sound like your voice is great. Just hear everything. The way you speak just sounds so professional now. And I was like, no, that's dumb. I think that's just my nice microphone.
Are you done complimenting yourself?
Yeah, that was like my humble brag.
Okay, so this is complimenting Rich Corner.
No, I'm just saying, I think that many people have that perception that they don't really like the sound of their voice, and really they have a very nice sounding voice, and I think you have a nice sounding voice.
Well, that's great. But we listened to the first episode and it was rough.
It was rough. We didn't know. I didn't know what we were doing. I didn't know how to do audio wise. Like I knew how to plug in a microphone. And I knew how to use Audacity a little bit. Mm-hmm. But that was when we were still we had two separate microphones that we were running on two separate computers.
Right.
And I was trying to like meld the two together, and it almost never worked. The first episode wasn't terrible. There were some episodes in like the first 10 episodes that were really rough. And there are some moments where like you can tell that the two tracks are like way out of sync. And there was just nothing I could do to nail those down except get better equipment that let me run it all through one computer. And then it suddenly got much better.
And I'm pretty sure in those at least I know in the first episode, you could make a drinking game out of every time I said the phrase straight up.
I think that might have been mainly even a first episode thing. You said straight up like 5 or 6 times.
He straight up murdered his brother.
Yeah.
And then I said that like 5 times.
Straight
up. I told him, I was like, can we turn this off, please? And he's like, no, we have to listen to this because we're talking about this stuff on the episode. And I was like, under protest, I will. Okay, let's talk about the things.
So first is chip and potato.
Right. So this is what started us off. This was our thing. At the time, Cora was obsessed with a little show called Chip and Potato. It's on Netflix. It's a pretty cute show. But we had been talking to our friends about this little cartoon that Cora watches, and they thought it was funny the way we talked about it. And so we were like,
podcast?
Not we. Rich was like, podcast? And I was like, I mean, I'll talk to you about it, I guess. So, a little tidbit about Chip and Potato, because another difference is that now I actually look things up and find out little facts about my shows instead of just going in and saying, going willy-nilly. Chip and Potato, it is Canadian, British, American animated children's television show. It is a series, and it is created by Billy McQueen, Catherine Williams, and Maddie Darrell. Chip and Potato. We haven't watched that in a hot second.
It's been a while. We watched it some more after that initial episode. Mm-hmm. Something else I was thinking about is that, like, at the time it felt like Cora was constantly changing shows. Yes. And it wasn't long after we started this show that she started to settle into, like, a handful of shows that she really liked.
Yeah. And now it's everything that's on FDR. Sorry. It's everything that's on YouTube Kids now is what she wants to watch. Chip and Potato is about Chip, who is a pug. She is in kindergarten, and she faces just challenges that happen in new stages of life, going to kindergarten, finding a new best friend, getting a new sibling, stuff that just kids could kind of, relate to. Chip is a pug.
Yeah.
Her little companion is Potato. And Potato is a snuggly toy. So I said this in our first podcast. It's very similar to like our kids would have like a lovey or something like that. And for her, they call them snugglies. And Potato is her snuggly toy. But the secret is that Potato is actually a real life mouse who is kept a secret from everybody other than Chip.
Right.
The characters are Little Mama, Little Papa.
Yeah.
This is the pug family. Little Mama, Little Papa. Chip. Spud. And later, baby Tot.
Mm-hmm.
So as you can tell, they all have potato themed.
The kids do.
The kids have potato themed names.
And kind of Little Papa. Because Papa is a word for potato in other languages. What? That's true.
Okay.
Not Mama, though.
Well, all right. Well, I didn't know that, and I'm wondering if that's actually a fact.
I mean, it's a true fact. I don't know if they intended that to be a potato name or not.
Okay.
Go. Sorry to interrupt.
Her best friend is a panda named Nico. They all live in a neighborhood called Welcome Walkie.
Mm-hmm. Or no, it's Welcome Walk is the name of the street.
I always get that wrong. Their street their neighborhood is called Welcome Walk.
Yeah, and then their little parade to school is called Welcome Walkies.
Doing the Welcome Walkies.
Yeah.
Which I think that's a terrible name for a street. Welcome Walk Street?
It's probably Welcome Walk. Wait,
no.
Yeah.
There aren't streets out there called something Walk.
I think so. Let me Google it. I'm pretty sure
I can't think of a single place I've ever been that's not been like street, road, circle, way.
Terrace, place.
Yes.
Circle.
I said circle.
Square.
Triangle.
I always thought it was just Welcome Walk. I thought that was the name of the street.
Okay. Well, I was thinking it was Welcome Walk Drive or something like that.
Sure.
Forget it. It's not a big deal. Jeez. So Potato is her little mouse cuddly snuggly toy only because she pretends that she is a toy to everyone else except for Chip. And she just helps her through her little struggles through her life. Something I liked when I was doing more research was, so this is a series that is targeted for younger kids, more like preschool age. And Maddie Darrell, who was the co-founder, co-producer, co-creator of this series, said, quote, that series arcs in preschool animation are simply not done. We want to prove that they should be.
Okay.
That is something we didn't mention in our first episode, is that this is arcing. Every episode leads into the next episode.
Yeah.
Because they'll be like, okay, we're back home from school. And Chip will say like, well, soon I get to go see Grandma. And then it'll end. And then the beginning is Grandma pulling up to get her. So everything is arcing in this series, which is interesting that I hadn't thought of that before.
Yeah. That
she was like, we just wanted to show that can happen in kids programming. What we talked about in our first episode is Potato real?
Yeah.
Or is this a figment of Chip's imagination? or just an imaginary friend that Chip carries around. As far as the creators are concerned, it's a real mouse.
Well, didn't we, and there's been so many things that have happened since then, but we did a follow-up on Chip and Potato.
You are right.
And like the grandmother or someone
it's actually best friend Nico. Starts to talk to Potato more. And also the two zebras, the older zebra couple, when they leave.
Yeah, that's right.
Yes, when they leave Welcome Walk, Potato is really sad and wants to say something to them, but doesn't know if she should reveal herself. Mm-hmm. And Chip is like, you should do it. And then Potato, of course, Potato doesn't speak actual words, but she does little squeaks and kind of like a Blue's Clue. I haven't done Blue's Clues on this. I love Blue's Clues. Kind of like a Blue's Clues, like squeaks, and you're just supposed to get it by the context.
Context and what, like, probably it jumped up and waved or something.
Right. So other characters in this show now have seen Potato and interact with Potato. And so we know Potato is a real mouse that just is undercover as a toy when she is around the more general public. Common Sense Media is a pretty conservative TV and kids TV and movie review site. And something that the parents did not like on the Common Sense Media reviews are that Chip lies and keeps secrets from adults. And that's something that some parents, I really didn't think about it. When Cora was watching it, I really did not think that this could be teaching my kid to keep secrets from me or to pretend that what is true actually isn't true / lie. But some parents see that immediately, and that's the way they want to parent and everything, and that's more power to them. It's just that I had never thought of that before.
I think, we did not catch on to that, although we did kind of mention that there are frequently times that Potato or that Chip can't do something by herself, and then Potato will help her do it. And then it'll be like, oh, Chip, great job. And she's like, thanks. And then looks over at Potato, and Potato kind of gives her a wink. And I guess I'm with you. I didn't think of that as like
it's not like a sinister thing.
Yeah, it's like a, oh, you help me kind of.
Yeah. But, if you're sensitive to that sort of content, then pass on Chip and Potato. But other than that, it is
definitely not something I think the creators baked in.
Right.
It would be one thing if it was openly and I even feel like there are episodes that deal with lying on the show.
Mm-hmm, there is.
So I'm pretty sure if that's a sensitive cut.
If that's a sensitive area to you, then there it is. We've talked about it. But other than that, it is actually a pretty cute show for those kids that, are interested in that. It's a little annoying, just like every other kids show is, but they learn about friendship and lying and, forgiveness and all the really good things that kids should be thinking about at that age.
A funny thing about this episode for us, episode 1, is that, and I'm going to talk about a few of these folks here in just a minute before we go to Promoville, but several times when we've been a guest on someone else's show and they'd to do their research, they've gone back and listened to some of our episodes, and often they go back and listen to the first episode. And it's funny how many times we've had people tell us, I was listening to that episode and I've never seen Chip and Potato, but my brain was exploding listening to you explain the fact that it's a normal show plus this little extra, this little mouse character. And I still think that's just such a funny thing. Although, like, sort of hindsight on it now, especially now that we don't watch that show anymore, really, is like, I mean, they needed something to make the show unique, I suppose. Although I think the thing about the being very intentional about episode arcs is also something that makes it a really strong show, actually. And I hadn't thought about. So do we have any more on Chip and Potato? That's
it for Chip and Potato for me.
Cool. Well, I'm going to have us go ahead and stop in Promoville here in just a second. But I do want to mention, since this is sort of like a retrospective episode for us over the last year, I also wanted to quickly call out, and we're going to mention these folks in our show notes, and we'll tag them when we promote the show on Twitter. We have, between us, been a guest on like 7 other podcasts this year. And so I just wanted to call those shows out really quickly because we are here in part because of them. And so those shows are Taller Lying Down. That was the first one we were ever a guest on. I was a guest on Grand Rapidians Play Video Games. And I also play D&D with Willie and Ginger from that show every week. I did a little quick guest spot on Drive With Us. We were guests on Quiet on the Set, which is unfortunately not around anymore. But they've started another different show, a show about, I think, like horror type shows or movies. We were on YU Podcast, and we were on Pod Clubhouse, the interview with the podcast episode. And then you were also on Four in Tow. And so those shows, thank you for helping us get to where we're at. We love you all, and we would be on all of your shows again.
For sure.
Anytime you want.
Yeah.
So now that we've done a little promo for those folks, let's fully park and stop for just a moment in Promoville.
I'm thirsty. That sounded dumb.
I'm thirsty. And we're back from Promoville. Go buy a t-shirt.
Oh.
Sorry, that was rough.
Calm down.
Please buy a t-shirt.
Do you want to
let's have a
introduce our question?
Let's have a question of the day.
Question of the day.
We haven't done one of those in a long time. And we are repeating the one that we did. Episode 1.
Villains. Disney villains.
The worst, the most evil of the Disney villains.
Have you changed your mind?
I don't know if
what was your pick a year ago?
So when I gave the answer originally, I said that I was giving an honorable mention to Jafar.
Right.
Because he sort of embodies the classic mustache twirling villain.
Evil magic user. Yeah.
But then I was ultimately going to vote controversially for Prince Hans of the Southern Isles from Frozen.
Right. Which is not so much controversial, I think, as just...
He's not a typical villain.
He's not, yeah.
I don't know. I remember that we got a lot of response on this one.
We had several people tell us, why did you not say Gaston?
I think Gaston kind of lines up with Hans. I think he's a similar kind of villain to Hans. It's just that he's bad from the beginning.
I think Gaston is worse
than Hans.
Honestly, yeah.
No way.
Gaston. Okay, so Gaston is a womanizer.
Yeah. So is Hans. I think Hans is too.
But okay. But really, for Hans deceived a young girl to gain her kingdom. Okay. Gaston did not deceive a young girl to gain anything. He just wanted her to gain her.
Yeah.
And also, to go about doing that, he blackmails her into marrying him by throwing her father into a loony bin, or basically a torture chamber of psychos.
Yeah.
He also tries to force her to marry him.
You almost said straight up. Straight
No,
up.
I didn't. I
just
really
joking.
didn't. Tries to force her to marry him by literally throwing a wedding and expecting her to go along with it. Then, when he sees that there's even one thing that she might like that would be a rival to him, he starts a mob to go kill that one thing.
Mm-hmm.
So I feel like Hans is small potatoes compared to
sorry.
Gaston.
No way. I would concede the Scar thing. So like when you talk about Scar, I get it.
I still think let me say really quickly, I said Scar a year ago I felt like was the worst villain. I do feel like he is still that in my mind.
Okay. But I have to say, to call Hans small potatoes, I don't think so, because I mean the fact that he not only it's one thing to say like he just deceived the girl into trying to marry him, but it's like he did that and tried to kill her twice, and also tried to kill her sister to take over the kingdom. He lied about their being married, and he got everyone in the kingdom on his side to take over a kingdom, which I feel like is a big selling point that you made about Scar, is like him deceiving all these people to take over to take on all that power.
Yes, I feel like, okay, I'm not gonna, I really don't want to get into this. I really don't.
We could do this for the whole rest of the hour.
I did want to mention that I did look over some websites that list top 10 to top 15 worst villains in Disney history. Scar is usually one of the top 5, as is Jafar, usually is one of the top 5. I did not see Hans on there.
Okay.
On any, and that's not to say he's not bad. That's not to say he's not bad.
I'm not saying that. I'm just saying I think that is because he flies under the radar, and this isn't a defense of that.
He's a silent villain. He's an underestimated villain.
And as I said, to be fair, in episode 1, this is something I complain about Frozen. Also, is that like I feel like I wish that there was a feeling of like them working against something, and he does kind of come out of nowhere. Like it's there are parts about him being the villain of that movie where it's like they got to the last third of the movie and realized they needed a bad guy and just kind of wrote in a bad guy.
I think there are subtle little hints, actually. Not at the very beginning when you first meet him, he's cool, but then I think there are smaller little hints going through that obviously you didn't catch.
Yeah, it's just got to be, even when I'm now saying how right you are, now you're like, no, I'm even more right than you because I think he is a good villain.
But your Jafar is usually on one of those lists. One that I didn't think of at the time that I would agree should be on one of those lists is is it Grothel? I'm trying to remember how to say her name. Rapunzel's kidnapper, who takes her as entangled, takes her as a baby, puts her in a tower, and completely emotionally, psychologically manipulates her to stay where she is. And, oh, you were pointing.
No, I was just.
Oh, you were saying yes, you're right?
Yeah.
Okay. I thought you were trying to say something.
No.
Okay. And to get her to stay there and to fear everything else in the world.
Similar to that, another one that a lot of people, that several people said, is Judge Frollo from The Hunchback of Notre Dame.
Which is that movie I'm not as familiar with, so...
But it's a pretty similar situation. He sort of takes this child from a young age, and raises him because of his deformity, raises him to believe that he has no place in society and that he has to serve the church and his country by being secluded and up in the tower. And then he learns that there are all kinds of different people who would love to interact with him. So
they're all not to.
They're all bad guys.
They're all bad guys. That's why they're all villains.
Yeah. Yeah, we can agree they're all bad guys. All bad people.
That's how about we end this segment on agreeing on that, because if we continue this segment, we'll stop agreeing.
Yeah, recording studio high five.
All right.
I'm going to get to the editing and think that that's a place I need to edit, because that's how I usually mark editing moments as clapping. So then we ended the first episode by talking about Daniel Tiger's Neighborhood, which is still just a great show.
Yeah, we can't recommend it enough. The thing we were talking about was the pants conundrum.
Pants thing, which was specifically requested to do like a whole feature on, and so we did like basically a whole segment just on pantsless cartoons, like later on down the line.
So many.
Yeah.
There are so many pantsless cartoons. The thing in the first episode, if you're not familiar with, the main issue that I came up with.
Not issue, but just like the one sort of weird thing.
The main pants issue that I came up with was that Daniel Tiger and his dad, in normal everyday streetwear, do not wear pants. They have on sweaters and shoes and nothing on bottom. Mom Tiger wears a blouse and like capri pants and shoes. And when they go to bed, both Dad Tiger and Daniel Tiger put on pajama pants.
Yeah.
And pajama shirts. So a full pajama set to go to bed. So it's not like they don't wear pants.
Yeah, you're right. It's weird.
They do wear pants, just not during the day when everybody can see them.
I think this is one of those, it's one of those things that I think obviously we don't accept it, because we called it out and made a whole podcast, most of a podcast episode about it. But I think this is just one of those things in cartoons that people kind of accept. Like, some cartoon characters just don't wear pants. And I think like when I was just thinking about you describing it, I was thinking about how weird it would be to see a cartoon character only wearing a pajama shirt.
Yeah.
Like, it's not that weird to see a cartoon character with like a shirt and shoes but no pants, but if they were just wearing a PJ shirt and nothing else, that would be really weird.
Yeah. Daniel Tiger is produced by the Fred Rogers Corporation. It debuted in 2012 on PBS Kids. It is targeted to preschool-aged kids, and it is based on the neighborhood of make-believe from Mr. Rogers' Neighborhood. Mr. Rogers' Neighborhood, by the way, went from 1968 to 2001.
Yeah.
I mean, yeah. In 2019, Daniel Tiger was renewed for its 5th season, and it premiered in August of 2020 with Daniel Tiger's Neighborhood, Won't You Sing Along With Me, which was a musical special that dealt with the COVID-19 pandemic, which we have not seen.
No,
we have not seen that particular one, so we'll have to go try to find that one to watch it. Because y'all know it's hard.
It's hard out there.
It's hard to explain to your kid why she can't go to the playground.
Yeah.
It's hard to explain to your kid why she has to wear a mask in the restaurant.
And why she has to wash her hands, constantly.
Right. And Cora is very complying. She will say, okay, cool. Because we say it's the sickness. The sickness is still around. We don't want you to get sick. We don't want other people to get sick. This is what we're doing to help. And she is there for it. She's got it. But when she sees a playground and it's full of children out there playing together, and she says, Mama, can I go play on the playground? it's hard to explain to her why it's hard for me to decide that.
Yeah.
And if I see some kids not on a particular part of the playground, I'll say, we can go play over here. Or if a child comes close to you, give them space. And that's a big thing for her. She's understood more about giving people space and everything like that. So it's hard to explain to your preschool or even those kids that aren't preschool anymore why they have to change the way they've been their whole lives. So it would be interesting to me to see what Daniel Tiger's Neighborhood did for that special.
For sure.
The whole series has your regular Mr. Rogers characters in it. Now, did they have, because you know Mr. Rogers more than I do,
Mm-hmm.
did they have the kids? Did they have anything like Daniel Tiger or O the Owl or anything, or did they only have the adults in those kids?
All of the adult characters were the characters in the Land of Make Believe, the Neighborhood of Make Believe, or on the original show.
Gotcha.
So, like,
Okay.
I think X the Owl.
Yeah, it's yes, X the Owl now has a nephew,
Right.
O the Owl. You now have Henrietta Pussycat now has Katerina Kitty Cat.
Yeah.
Lady Elaine Fairchild and Music Man Stan have a daughter, Miss Elena. And they call her Miss Elena. I just think that's,
Yeah.
King Friday and Queen Sarah have Prince Wednesday.
Prince Wednesday, I believe. Wait, there's a Prince Tuesday.
Mm-hmm.
That's
and
the
there's
older
a
one.
Prince Tuesday. He is older.
If I remember right, Prince Tuesday was on the show.
Gotcha.
Man, it's been a long time since I've seen Mr.
Yeah,
Rogers,
I
I feel like we need to do Mr. Rogers for this show.
Oh, I would be into it. Yeah.
I feel like Prince Tuesday was on there, but not Prince Wednesday.
Okay. So it's a reimagining
Yeah.
of the original, obviously. And it deals with a lot of emotional type issues that these, kids this age deal with. Like, what could I think of? Being angry, being frustrated, when you get sad, when you get scared, those sorts of things. And what they do is they use little musical jingles or phrases or small songs that the show calls them strategy songs, which I love. Which I don't know if everybody out there knows, but Rich and I are both education majors.
Yeah.
So when it comes to a TV show that people have actually done education training,
it's like they've thought through a curriculum for their show.
Yeah, then that's a plus in our book. It does follow a curriculum based on Fred Rogers' teaching and new research from that time that they have in child development that they have integrated into it now. I loved this. In 2006, which was 3 years after Fred Rogers' death, the Fred Rogers Company contacted Angela Santomero to ask what type of show she would create to promote Fred Rogers' legacy, and that led to Daniel Tiger's Neighborhood. It has won and been nominated for several awards. It won the Silver Parents Choice Award in 2013 and 2014, nominated for Television Critics Association Award for Outstanding Achievement in Youth Program in 13 and 14. It was, and in 2019, it won a Daytime Emmy Award for Outstanding Preschool Children's Animated Program.
It's a good show.
We highly recommend Daniel Tiger.
Yeah.
There's not much other than, partial nudity. There's not much that we have ill to say. In the original neighborhood. Is
Mhm.
is it called the neighborhood of make believe?
I think I feel like it was the land of make believe.
Land of make believe. Okay.
So it was Mr. Rogers' neighborhood, and then when you went to his house,
Mm-hmm.
then there was this little section that would the trolley would come up, and then you would like be transported to the land of make believe, and it was like a puppet stage.
Gotcha. Because in this, it's Daniel Tiger's neighborhood.
The land of make believe.
The land of make believe. Yeah. So were there animals? Were there animals in the land of make believe?
Yeah. So
Okay.
that's what I was saying. Is I think X the Owl and
right. Okay.
Cat what's her name? It's not Caterina Kitty Cat. The other one.
Pussycat.
Yeah. What's her face?
Like Priscilla, or hold on, I just had it up. Henrietta.
Henrietta. Yeah.
Pussycat. So what I was thinking of was in a land of make believe,
Mm-hmm.
there's a lot of humans.
Yeah, but I think that a lot of the characters like so for instance, take Mr. McFeely is the postman.
Right.
He wasn't part of the land of make believe. He was just part of Mr. Rogers' neighborhood.
Okay.
And I think that the baker and the doctor and all of those, I think that those were like humans who were like connected with Mr. Rogers' neighborhood that weren't in the land of make believe side.
Okay.
And so they kind of merged the real life world with the land of make believe side.
Okay. I understand.
The main things I remember from the land of make believe from the puppet stage, were the king and queen, and I think Prince Tuesday.
Okay. So they were humans in the original. Okay.
And then X and Henrietta.
Yes. A cat and
then
an owl.
I remember Lady Elaine Fairchild. I remember her.
Okay.
But like, for instance, I don't remember Music Man Stan being part of that world. But I imagine that he was part of the outside world. And so I think they melded the human and puppet worlds into one land of make believe.
Okay, interesting. Like I said, I did not watch Mr. Rogers. I really only know of it from Daniel Tiger.
Yeah.
So anyway,
that'll have to be one we do soon, because now I'm trying to remember.
You should watch, because I feel like you are more connected than me to the Fred Rogers thing. You should watch the Tom Hanks. What is the Tom Hanks?
Oh yeah, I haven't seen that yet.
Mr. Rogers thing. Yeah, I'm pretty sure your mom's...
Is it called "Won't You Be My Neighbor"? Something like that. Something like that.
Yeah, it's something like that. It's supposed to be quite good, but come on, it's Tom Hanks.
Yeah, it's gonna be good.
It's gonna be good.
So yeah, need to see that.
Yeah, so that was basically the year-old version of our first episode.
Yeah. And it was a ton of fun to make then, and it's still a ton of fun to make. And that's all, at least in part because of all of you who are listening and all the people who have supported us through this time. It's been a weird year. And
I think we all know that.
And so we hope that we have been able to be a distraction, a positive distraction during that time. And we're not going anywhere. We're going to keep making more not suitable for adults. Yeah.
Get a t-shirt, get a sticker. I tell you what, if I was just like had to go out for an errand to Kroger or something, and I was walking past a person that had a Promoville t-shirt on, do you know, pandemic be darned, I would run up to that person and I would be bawling.
Big hugs.
That would be the best thing ever. But we have Promoville t-shirts. We also have t-shirts or sweatshirts that just have our logo on them. And we also just have stickers. Like Rich and I like to put stickers like on our laptops and stuff like that. So we have those as well. Do we have anything other than shirts and stickers?
No. We could have a bunch of stuff. Like we could have like mugs and all sorts of junk.
If you guys want that, let us know and we will make that happen.
So just so you know where to go to find that, it's if you go over to, we're on TeePublic, so you can find us on TeePublic, but where it's linked through is on our Podchaser profile page. So if you go to podchaser.com/notforadultscast and then click on the merch link, that'll take you out to our TeePublic site where you can buy either t-shirt. I don't know if the Promoville one is turned on for stickers or not. I should probably turn that on.
And it's getting to be Christmas time.
Yeah.
So, if you and a friend enjoy our podcast together,
give each other shirts and
give
stickers.
each other shirts, or just give them a shirt and watch their eyes light up in excitement
as they get transported to Promoville. So yeah, if you, we would also love it if you would go over and rate and review us. So you can do that while you're at Podchaser, or you can do that on iTunes. We really, really love it when we see reviews from folks. We've got looks like we've got 9 ratings on Podchaser as well. So we're around 45 total reviews, and that means so much to us, and we'd love to see more of that.
And the best gift you can give us is just telling somebody about us.
Even if you don't want to or can't take the time to do a review, tell someone about our show.
Just say, hey friend, you have a kid, you have to watch a lot of TV? Yeah, me too. Hey, guess what? I know some other people that have to do that too.
Or like, hey friend, you like watching cartoons? I know some other people who are forced to.
All right. So just word of mouth. We'd appreciate it.
Yeah. So we're coming into the end of the year. We've all been working hard on this year, I feel like. And you're all just doing great. Just know that you're all doing great.
Yeah, we're gonna
make it after all.
Oh wow. Okay, Mary Tyler Moore.
Yeah, that's me.
We're gonna be fine, you guys. And no matter how hard it gets, just we always figure it out because we are strong.
Yeah, and also you're the boss.
So watch
and do and be
whatever you want.
Okay, bye.
Bye.